What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. I know this is hours after the fact of a very dreadful Phillies loss to the Nationals today. They sucked once again. Go figure. The offense could not hit. Go figure against a very no-named pitcher, a guy that had a career 5+ ERA in the minor leagues, making his third major league start, and they couldn't score a single run. They also had very dumb base running decisions on the base paths. And Taijuan Walker, who pitched pretty well once again in today's game, only allowed 2 runs, went 6 innings. Actually, I think he went 7 innings or 6 2/3 innings in today's game. And quality start. Uh, uh, all that goes to the fucking wayside. Because after the game, we saw on Phillies post-game live that randomly Dave Dumbrosski was speaking to the media, and then we find out that Dave Dumbrosski is speaking about an update on Zack Wheeler and his condition, and giving us probably a reason why his past so many starts have been so weird, why he was feeling soreness in his shoulder, why Zack Wheeler hasn't looked like himself for a very long time at this point, and now we have an answer. They couldn't find anything in the MRIs, so we didn't think anything about that, but then they found an answer. He has blood clots. He has blood clots in his shoulder, his throwing shoulder, and that's where he was feeling the soreness. And they say, I believe it was called an upper extremity blood clot in his shoulder. I mean, after the whole scare with Duran last night, you call it a break there, but this is a major blow to your team. This is a gigantic blow to your goddamn team. And just first and foremost, to get it out there, I hope Zack Wheeler is okay through this entire process. I hope he finds a way to recover from this, because blood clots are no joke. Blood clots are a serious thing and a serious condition that you just can't predict. You can't predict when it's going to heal. And that's why I'm going to preface this entire thing basically with the idea that Zack Wheeler is not going to pitch again in 2025. They're putting him on the 15-day IL. They're not giving any type of update if he's going to be back during the regular season or not, or be back for the playoffs or not. I'm just going to be under the preface that he's done for the year, because you cannot predict what goes on with blood clots. We don't know if this is with the way that it's described, it sounds serious, like upper extremity. It sounds serious. Of course, that everyone tries to go out there, play Google Doctor and all that stuff. The one thing that I saw is that blood clots could range anywhere from a healing process to a couple of weeks to months. That's why I'm going with he's just not pitching the rest of the year. He is just not pitching the rest of the year. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'll assume. I don't think Zack Wheeler will be pitching in the Phillies uniform the rest of the season. I think his season is done, and I think that is probably the right thing that they should do, because this is a weird blood clots are a very major thing to not rush somebody back from, because they are just so unpredictable, and it's not worth it. It is just not worth it, in my personal opinion. It is just not worth it to bring Zack Wheeler back this year. And that's where it's at. That's where it should be. Zack Wheeler should not pitch the rest of the season. Let him figure out this whole thing. Let him get through whatever treatment that he has to go through to fix this problem. It's a serious problem. I'm not sure if he has to go on blood thinners or on anything, like whatever treatment that he has to go through. Just let that be the focus for them. Let that be the focus for him. Baseball should be not even a secondary thing right now. That shouldn't even be the primary focus. Get him all healed up from these blood clots, because you don't know how long it's going to take to go away. So, my thoughts is just that he's not going to pitch the rest of the year, and he should not pitch the rest of the year. What it means for the Phillies, though, it means you're fucking screwed. You are screwed. Because your whole preface going into the playoffs was, and basically this entire year, was your elite starting pitching, your elite starting rotation. And now, with this whole thing with Zack Wheeler and blood clots, like I say, I don't think he's going to pitch the rest of the year, meaning he's probably not going to pitch in the playoffs either. Most likely, you're down your ace. And now that just lowers anything. Because even though I didn't have any faith in this team to begin with. I'm not even putting it out there that I think this team even had a chance if they made the playoffs to win a World Series. But the only thing that this team had going for them, basically, on a consistent basis was their starting rotation. And can the starting rotation carry them throughout an entire playoff run? Now your rotation is shot. Now the top part of your rotation is completely shot. Your season's over. Do you really think this offense is going to do much? They're getting shut out by the Washington Nationals. They're not scoring runs against the Washington Nationals. Do you really think this team is going to step up at the right time when the lights are shining bright down at CBP or any other visitor's ballpark that they go to in the playoffs? Do you really think the offense is going to do much? Really? Do you think the offense is going to do much this postseason? No, absolutely not. Your preface of going deep into the playoffs was that a top-heavy rotation of very elite starting pitching of Zack Wheeler, of Christopher Sanchez, of a healthy Aaron Nola, and maybe a Ranger Suarez was going to carry you to the promised land. And you also added to the back end of your bullpen with Duran to where, if it's a low-scoring game, if your offense scores enough, you have a lead late, you can go to your closer to shut the game down. That's the problem. Now that becomes part of the weakness, because now you're down less a starting pitcher. And that's no knock to Christopher Sanchez, who has been fantastic this year. Aaron Nola, I don't know what to expect from him. I expect him to be better than what he was at the beginning of the season because now he's actually healthy. Ranger Suarez is still a major fucking question mark because it's second half Ranger Suarez. And Jesus Luzardo, you don't know. Taijuan Walker has been pretty respectable since coming back into the starting rotation, but still, you really can't rely on him. The expectations are so low at him, and I'm not trying to discredit Taijuan Walker for what he's doing so far because he's been doing his job whenever his number has been getting called this year. But still, your rotation has become significantly weaker without Zack Wheeler. And Zack Wheeler the past couple of weeks has not been himself. And now you have a reason why he has not been himself. He wasn't healthy. He wasn't healthy. He was dealing with blood clots. And he's most likely not going to pitch the rest of the year. And that was your whole preface of trying to go deep into the playoffs. One of the slither of reasons that maybe this team could go deep into the playoffs was because of their starting rotation. Their offense was not going to be the reason why they would go deep into the playoffs. Bullpen-wise, you added Duran. Maybe that could have been a reason if you pitched in low-score games and won those because of Duran coming into the ninth inning and shutting things down. And your starting rotation, having guys go out there and shutting down the opposition to maybe it's where the offense only has to score a few runs. Can't rely on that anymore. You can't rely on that anymore. And I still think you couldn't rely on that to begin with because eventually pitchers are going to wear down because you rely on them so much. You're screwed. You are absolutely screwed. You are screwed. And that also comes to the face where I didn't think this team was doing nothing in the playoffs to begin with. Because their offense is so bad. Their offense is so flawed. It is insane. It is absolutely insane how flawed the offense is. How they can't score runs against the goddamn Washington Nationals. You already failed. You failed by losing the first game of this goddamn series, and this is just a fucking cherry on top of this series where you get shut out 2-0. Because you can't fucking drive runners in with runners in scoring position. Also, you can't, you run stupid on the base path. You're a dumb team. You're a dumb team. You're a dumb team. You're a dumb team. Trying to steal third base a couple of times in this game, you get thrown out. Stupid base running decisions on those parts. You fucking can't hit with runners on in general. It's a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. So why do we even fucking believe, or why would we even want to believe that this team could do anything in the playoffs? Because they're not going to. Your season is screwed. Your season is over. Because one of the things that this team was so heavily reliant on, of part of their starting rotation, is now gone. He's going to be gone for the rest of the year. And I think that's the right thing to do because you should not rush somebody back from a situation like this, from a condition like this, because you don't know when it's going to get better. You don't know when it's going to get better. You can't guarantee that this gets better in a couple of weeks. You can't guarantee that this thing gets better in a month. You can't guarantee that this thing gets done by October. You cannot guarantee anything. I understand why they're not going to say he's done for the year, but at this point, he's done for the year. Because blood clots are so unpredictable. You don't know when they're going to go away. You're done. You're done. You're done. Your season is finito. Done. Goodbye. You're done. Done. Because this team ain't doing shit. This team ain't doing shit. It's a joke. It's a joke. A season that we've been so frustrated for so long with this team. We finally got a slither of fun last weekend, and then immediately it came crashing all down. Because once again, ho-hum, offense can't do shit. Offense go cold. Offense can hit with runners in scoring position. Offense can't hit when there's expectations. The pattern? The pattern? I don't know how us fan base sees that when the team can't. Oh, we just gotta get hot at the right time, as Dave Dumbrosski says. We just gotta get right at the hot time, hot at the right time, and that'll carry us through a playoff run. That is terrible logic. That is terrible logic. I understand playoff runs in previous years. If you look at patterns, I understand. Yeah, it's teams that get hot at the right time. Why can't you just be a good team throughout the entire year? Why can't you just be a consistently good team throughout the entire year? Why can that also be a mold? No, you got to rely on getting hot at the right time. Well, eventually hotness wears out. You can only get hot for so long. And with this team, their hotness only lasts like 4 days. And then they're cold for the next 75% or more. How can you rely on that? You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You're done. You are done. The rest of this season means nothing to me. It doesn't. This series has proven that. The Zack Wheeler situation puts more light on it. Now, it's not, like I said, I hope Zack Wheeler figures it out and gets through this. Because, like I said, blood clots are no joke. Blood clots are no joke, and they should not bring him back this year. His priority is getting healthy. Priority is getting healthy. Crazy. It is crazy. Oh, Julian, they'll make the playoffs because that's how bad baseball is. They'll still make the playoffs because that's how bad the league is. That's the only reason why they'll make the playoffs. And basically, we got like no other updates with this thing. It's basically just Dave Dombrowski saying that he has blood clots and he's going on the IL. So we don't know. This is just very annoying. I do want to read an article from just MLB.com just to see if there's anything more on this entire situation. So let's see. So the Phillies were, they also had head athletic trainer talking with Dave Dombrowski as well. He felt a little heaviness on his right shoulder after yesterday's game, saying Zack had been feeling better after his right shoulder soreness, but yesterday some symptoms had changed. Doctors were great in helping to diagnose the expedite in the diagnosis this morning. Blah, 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 giving credit to the doctors here, making sure they were figuring out what it was, blah, blah, blah. Rob Thompson obviously saying they don't know what the timeline is. I'm thinking a lot of Zack and his family because this is not a hamstring injury or something like that. Taiwan Walker even commented on it. I texted him a little bit this morning. Obviously scary. The loss today doesn't mean anything. Obviously, we are praying for him, trying to keep in contact with him. I know he knows we are all here for him. We all love him. Schwarber commented on it. We heard some rumblings. When we got to the field, he wasn't here. I made sure to shoot him a text. Sounded like he was going to get tests done. It's a scary situation. Anytime you hear that a visceral, like it's a blood clot, that's scary stuff. I want him to get back in here and hear from him, and hopefully it's not going to be too serious. Baseball is baseball. But when it comes to someone's health, we need him healthy first. He's got a family. We got to get him feeling good for them and then get back to speed whenever we can. I mean, they're saying the right things. So he's done for the rest of the year. He's done for the rest of the year. That's basically it. He's done for the rest of the year, and that's what should be the case. He just annoying. And I do have the scary thought in the back of my mind that just actually popped up. We all know that Zack Wheeler has been talking about at the end of this contract, he is retiring. that he is retiring. He is already fully committed to retiring after this contract is done. What if this forces him to retire early? That's just a thought. I think it's a kind of a warranted thought because, like I said, blood clots are a serious thing. And what if he just never simply? What if this just doesn't go away fully, and you really can't be the same guy? Well, your health is more the priority than baseball. What if it forces him to retire? That's also another thought that you can have in the back of your mind. That's how serious this thing can be. That's how serious. That's the unpredictability of blood clots, because you just don't know the extent of it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It sucks. It really does, because I feel bad for Wheeler. I feel very bad for Wheeler. Wheeler's done. Wheeler is done. He is done. Honest to God, we can honestly be like thinking about the era being over. It's done. It is completely done. Whether sliver of hope that anybody even had, and I feel like that's a very few slim people that actually had hope with this team, it's probably all gone now. It is probably all gone. Because you're done. You're done. You're done. You're not even doing anything. Honest to God, yeah, maybe they can miss the playoffs now. Maybe that is even a possibility. Maybe this thing shoots so low with this team that it just completely derails them. I could see that happening. I can. I don't know. They're just not good. They're not good enough, and the one thing that they really hoped on with their starting rotation carrying them through, you lost a major part of that starting rotation. And now the most important thing is for him to get better. That's basically it. And then for people that are going to be saying that, call Andrew Painter up, no. He had a start today. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Dude is nowhere close to being ready. Now Painter is he's just not ready. He is not ready. He is not ready at all. Because he literally talks about how when he throws a pitch, sometimes he knows where it's going to end up, other times he doesn't. I don't want that guy up here right now. I just don't. Cole Hamels, oh God. His arm is probably fucking cooked. What is it there? What else is there? Just trying to see if there's anything else. No, I really don't see anything. I don't want to go over today's game. The game was bad. The game was very bad. The only two people in this lineup today that showed up offensively, Trey Turner, he went 3 for 4, but he also got caught stealing on the base paths, so there's a downside to that. Schwarber and Harper went 0 for 4. JT was the only other guy offensively that showed up. He went 4 for 2. Marsh had a double, but he also got caught stealing on the base paths. Bader went 1 for 4. Kepler went 0 for 3. Sosa went 1 for 3. Stott went 0 for 2, and then Wilson pinched hit. That was basically it. Walker, like I said, I give credit to Taijuan Walker. He's doing all he can. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 94 pitches. I mean, I can't blame Taijuan Walker at all. The offense isn't scoring. Bobby, this is not an overreaction. This is a proper reaction. Do you trust Bobby? Do you seriously trust this offense? Do you trust this offense to get him to the promised land? Their entire philosophy this year was getting hot at the right time. Their part of their philosophy was relying on their elite starting rotation. One of those pitchers is gone. One of your pitchers is gone now. He's probably not coming back because you cannot predict what a blood clot could be. You can't predict when a blood clot heals, and most likely it will not heal by the time you need him to. Which most likely means they don't even know the timeline. They don't know the timeline. They can't give you a timeline because blood clots are unpredictable. Yeah, maybe it could go away within a matter of weeks. Does that mean it could come back? It could probably come back. So, do you trust this offense that can't score runs against one of the worst teams in baseball, in the Washington Nationals, to go through 3 playoff series? 3 playoff series. NLDS, NLCS, and World Series. Or if you even throw in the wild card, that's 4 playoff series. Do you trust this offense to remain consistent through 4 wild card series? You don't know. Because it's not going to happen. Because your offense, every single year, it is the same thing. They don't know. It's not that they don't know. They can't. They can't hit when they have expectations. They shelter, they crumble, they shriver up when they have expectations. That's what it's been like for the past so many years. They were expected to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. They shriveled up in those last few games after they dominated in games 1 and 2. They shriveled up in the rest of those series and still had a chance to win that series in games 6 and 7 at Citizens Bank Park, and they shriveled. They should have beat the Mets last year. They shriveled. Now, I'm not going to say they should have beat the Houston Astros because the Houston Astros were the better team, but the Phillies were in a position to win that series, no doubt. Do you really trust this offense to do anything? Do you really trust this offense to do anything? Because no, you can't. No, you can't. You cannot tell me with a straight face that this offense is going to do much. Your season is done. Your season is over. Because the one slither of hope that you had with the starting rotation just got weaker. And that's no knock to Christopher Sanchez. That's no knock to Aaron Nola. That's no knock to anybody else in the starting rotation. When you lose a caliber of starting pitcher like Zack Wheeler, when you had 2 of those caliber guys in your rotation like Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, you lose one of those guys, kind of screwed. Because you don't know what's going on with Ranger Suarez. You don't even know if he's going to figure it out because Ranger Suarez has not been good for a little bit here. Jesus Luzardo, he struggles pitching from the stretch. Aaron Nola, he hasn't been healthy this year, and maybe he will find the way to figure it out now that he is healthy. Christopher Sanchez has been good all year. But what is it going to be like now that he is the guy of the starting rotation? Does he take that and run with it? Maybe. Is that going to be enough? Probably not. Taijuan Walker has been good when his number has been called, but you still just can't rely on that for a very long time because eventually he will blow up at some point. But he's been good more times than not this year, and he does deserve credit for that. You can't trust this offense. You can't trust this offense. You can't trust Harper. You can't trust Turner. You can't trust the rest of this offense. You can't trust Schwarber because even though how great Kyle Schwarber has been this year, he is part of the reasons why. He is part of the problems why this offense also goes cold in the worst possible times. You can't trust Nick. You can't trust JT. You can't trust Stott. You can't trust Marsh. You can't trust Bohm. You can't trust any of these guys. You just can't. You just can't. You can't trust this version of Bryce Harper because what if the wrist is still bothering him? Maybe that's why he's also been so bad. As much as I'm a Trey Turner guy, no, he hasn't lived up to the expectations of the contract. Nick Castellanos has been a disaster. JT Realmuto, he's just in the decline of his at the age of the catcher, being the catcher for so long in that position. He's just in the decline offensively. Stott's not good enough. Bohm's not good enough. Even though Marsh has been hitting better, that's eventually going to wear out because he's not good enough. You can't rely on it. You just simply can't. Simply can't. And that's why you're going to lose. And that's why your season's done. Just crazy stuff here, boys. Crazy stuff. I hope Zack figures it out. I hope he's able to get better. But like I said, I don't expect him to be back this year. I just don't. Because blood clots are so unpredictable. And the best thing that they can do is just focus on his priority of getting better. Don't even worry about baseball for the rest of the year. Dave Dumbrosski isn't dumb. I don't understand the reason behind not fixing the offense. It's your owner. It's your owner. It's your owner. Your owner doesn't want to. Your owner will spend money. He spends money to a certain extent. He won't spend money to the extent of the Dodgers. He won't spend money to the extent of what Steve Cohen did. He'll only spend it to a certain extent. And he's afraid to trade away prospects. He's afraid to trade away Justin Crawford. He's afraid to trade away Andrew Painter. He's afraid to trade away Aiden Miller because Ruben Amaro, in years past, traded away prospects that amounted to nothing, that turned into that brought you back star talent in return for guys like Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, guys like Roy Oswalt, Hunter Pence, all that stuff. He made sure that the team was put in the best position to win in the playoffs. And yeah, I understand I'm still not giving Ruben Amaro credit for being a good GM, but he still put his team in better positions to win in the postseason. They just couldn't get it done. It's John Middleton. John Middleton. He's the reason why. And until people admit, because people, even though Dave Dombrowski does not deserve to be taken away from the blame, he does not. He does not. I'm just seeing a pattern. I'm just trying to connect the dots. How does a guy that has been known to burn down prospect systems in his entire career, that always goes out and tries to get the best talent possible, spend a bunch of money as possible. I'm talking about Dave Dombrowski, by the way. That always trades away prospects to get proven talent to put teams in the best possible position to compete in the playoffs. Why all of a sudden, when he comes to Philadelphia, that's not the main priority? He's being forced to build up prospect systems. He's being forced to reshape the prospect system. And now he's not allowed to trade prospects. Now, granted, he did trade prospects to get Duran, which was a good trade. But they won't trade away prospects to get proven bats. When a guy like a Brett Rooker maybe was available. Doesn't want to go out and get Brett Rooker because Brett Rooker would have been a great bat for this lineup. Probably the right-handed bat that this lineup needed. Didn't want to go get him. Didn't want to go get any bat that was available at the trade deadline possibly to help this team out, or just get multiple bats. Didn't have to be one singular fantastic bat. It could have been 2 solid bats, maybe 3 solid bats. If you get 2, 3 solid bats, that's a good trade deadline. But no, your owner is scared to trade away prospects because he thinks these prospects, because he's worried about having a baseball team that he can field in 5 to 10 years down the line. He's worried about Citizens Bank Park being empty like it was from 2012 to 2018 or 2017. Well, 2018 probably. He's worried about that. He's worried about losing money in the future because if the team is very bad in future years, he's so worried about 5 to 10 years down the road that he's forgetting about the team right now that has World Series aspirations. It is your owner. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad owner. I'm saying he has flaws. And the flaws of said owner are what's hurting the team. Because he's afraid to trade away prospects. He's afraid to spend money to a certain extent. He's afraid to put the team over the top. He just is. He just is. And I really don't see another reason why they would do that. Most likely, at this point, Kyle Schwarber's gone. JT, probably gone. What are they going to do? Are they going to trade Nick Castellanos away now? Probably. What are they going to... Alec Boehm's going to walk away? That's a lot of the team gone. Are you actually going to penny up to sign Kyle Schwarber? I have no idea. I can't guarantee that. Everyone keeps saying that, oh, Phillies have a lot of money off of the books next offseason. They'll spend money again. I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I've very soured on John Middleton a lot this year. Because he talks so much about spending money stupidly and getting his goddamn trophy back. Well, he's not making those moves to probably try to ensure. Well, really, you can't ensure, but put your team in the best possible position to get your damn trophy back. He isn't doing that. You trade away prospects because you can easily build up that prospect system again. You can get top prospects again. Just draft and develop, and you trade those prospects away. That's what a lot of prospects in baseball are for. They're trading chips. They're bargaining chips for teams that don't want to spend money, for teams that are trying to trade away players. Spend prospects, get proven talent in return, you get prospects back, and you build up that farm system once again. It's a whole complete cycle. That's how teams stay relevant. That's how teams stay competitive. John Middleton doesn't understand that. He just doesn't. He's so afraid of trading 3 prospects that might not amount to anything. Andrew Painter might not amount to anything. Aiden Miller might not amount to anything. Justin Crawford might not amount to anything. Could have traded some of those for even more proven talent. He'll only do it to a certain extent. That's what this trade deadline was. He did it to a certain extent. But he wouldn't go fully in. Duran was a great trade. Even though I like Harrison Bader, not enough. Not even close. Not even close. And that's the issue. That is the issue. That is the issue. Just is. Just is. Again, the Mets won today, by the way, so it's a 5-game lead in the East? That lead might slowly slither away now. Unless the Mets just continue to fall apart. That could also happen. That could also happen. But I'm not guaranteeing shit anymore. I'm just not. You're done. You are done. You are done. You are done. You are done. So, basically it. Aaron Nola on the bump tomorrow. Woohoo. Not for Aaron Nola's sake, I hope he pitches good tomorrow. Just for Aaron Nola's sake. But besides that, do I expect him to win? No. 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 That'll do it for tonight, everybody. I know I got to this so late. I wasn't home the entire day. I was in Atlantic City, so. And I was sitting down at the restaurant for dinner when I saw the press conference from Dave Dumbrosski, and I was asking people, because I obviously couldn't hear the audio, I was asking, why is Dave Dumbrosski on postgame? They're talking about Wheeler, then I see the Twitter updates. That sucks. That sucked. Appreciate you guys for tuning in this late. As usual. Tomorrow, obviously, there will be a recap, but I probably will still be in this same mood. I'll probably be in this mood the rest of the year, because at this point to me, it's meaningless to watch the rest of the season. It just is. It just is. So, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully, Zack Wheeler gets better through all this. And we'll just see. So, thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.